What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to what is going to be the beginning of my Borderlands 4 coverage. The game releases tomorrow, and I decided to go ahead and start making these videos because I'm really excited for this, and I think that this is going to be really fun. So I'm going to be introducing you guys today to what is going to be my first character that I end up playing, and that is going to be Vex, and I'm going to be showing you exactly how I'm going to be playing her, all the skills associated to it, and why I plan on building it like this. So if you think you're going to enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And welcome to Borderlands 4. The game is finally going to be out as the time of release of this video, so let's jump right in. So first and foremost, we have our character Vex here. We are going to be using Vex as our first playthrough, if you guys weren't already aware, and I don't know if anybody of you that is coming from my Twitter, or you might just happen to come across my channel because, hey, you see this new person is playing some Borderlands, and he has some Borderlands stuff on his channel, but not a lot. So let me go ahead and start this off by saying that we are going to be playing in the Dead Ringer skill tree. I'm excited for this one because even though in Borderlands 3 the minions builds for, I mean, technically Zane kind of had a minion build when it came to the drone and clone, and then you've also got Flak, which has a minion as well. I feel like this one is more attuned with the Zane type of gameplay, while the Face Familiar plays more like the Flak gameplay that we had in Borderlands 3. But here's the reason why I want to play Dead Ringer. There's a bunch of different things in this skill tree that are going to be super fun once we start getting into this. So let me go ahead and start walking out how we're going to do this. We are using a skill tree planner for Borderlands 4 featuring the Max Roll website. So if you guys haven't tried it out, definitely go and use it if you're going to be planning out a build before you hop into Borderlands 4 tomorrow, if you are playing it on day one. So we're going to be playing Dead Ringer. With Dead Ringer, you get 3 charges. You have a chance to spawn, or, well, you don't have a chance. You are spawning a phase clone minion with the choice between a Spectre or a Reaper. Phase clones lose an ever-increasing amount of health per second, and their damage type matches Vex's current attunement when spawned. Pressing mouse 1 to spawn a Reaper that taunts the enemy and deals melee attack. Pressing mouse 2 spawns a Spectre that deals gun damage and cannot move. This is equivalent to Zane's clone, while the Reapers are more equivalent to like Flak's pets that you can like tell them to go and attack stuff, right? So her attunement thing is any type of element that her gun is what the melee damage and action skill damage is going to be for Vex and her minions and anything else that she's doing, which is really cool because, funny enough, Vex plays more equivalent to Flak in my opinion, based off of gameplay that I've seen and based off the way that I've been studying her skill tree. This is very similar to Flak in my opinion. So let's go ahead and start building her out. So my goal for this build is to keep my minions alive as long as possible, because I like the idea of builds that have minions, and I've been playing minion builds ever since World of Warcraft back in 2004. So I've had a long time playing with minion builds. I played a ranger build in World of Warcraft where I had like pets with me all the time. I was always wanting a pet to deal some extra damage alongside me dealing some damage. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is making sure that our minions can stay alive and they gain like a bunch of different bonuses and stuff like that throughout the time that they are out. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to do the Fell Inscriptions. This allows Vex and her minions to gain increased melee damage and maximum health capacity, which means that the more health that they have, the longer the minions are going to be able to stay out on the field, since they do lose health over time. So we're going to put 5 points into here. That's going to give us 30 points of melee damage increase and then 30% maximum health capacity. So I currently do not know what that is going to look like, but once we hop into the game tomorrow, we're going to really find out what it's like, and I'm excited for that. So here's the thing. Normally at this point, I would go ahead and start moving down the tree to get some other stuff. We are going to go ahead and move down the tree and get our first attunement, which is Coven. This is our first augment that we're going to get for our skill tree, and I'll explain that more here in just a moment. This augment spawns a Reaper. This grants Vex and her minions health regeneration for a duration, and spawning a Spectre grants Vex and her minions critical hit chance for a duration, and both of these effects can stack up to 3 times, giving us upwards of 30% health regeneration and 10% critical hit chance, which is a super massive thing that we need, because again, we want our minions to stay on the field as long as possible, and if they are getting health regeneration, that's what we're wanting. So we're going to click on Coven. We're going to be using that. So one of the other skills that she gets up here is Sanguine Fiends. This is a kill skill, so every time Vex or her minions kill something, they are going to regenerate health over time up to 20% extra health regeneration. So just with this stuff alone, with this and this combined, I am getting an average of 50% health regeneration per second, which is crazy, which means I'm going to be staying alive. My minions are going to be staying alive, and it looks absolutely insane. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick 5 points right here into Sanguine Fiends. So is there anything else that we want up here? We are probably going to go ahead and grab Cold Iron at some point, but we're going to make sure that the rest of the build fits out. So we have Curse Blade here, which applies Curse, which will also make hit enemies take status effect damage that is kinetic, which is a new type of status effect, which is basically just bleed damage, essentially. We're not going to take that right now, because that's not what the goal of this build is. We have status effect chance, or we have fire rate for a duration. So because I don't want any of those, we're going to move down since we can grab some of this stuff. Right here, we have a kill skill. Vex gains increased action skill cooldown rate. The reason why we want this is because I want to be able to continue to summon my minions as quickly as possible. With this skill at max amount, we can get this to 15% per stack. So 45% action skill cooldown rate with this skill. And all we got to do is kill stuff. We're going to be killing stuff anyway, so this is going to be perfect for us. So we're going to grab Grave Quickening, and we're going to grab all 5 points into it. So now we can start grabbing stuff down here, but we're going to wait just a moment before we do that, because we have other skills right here that we can do. So right here, this one I want to have, because there's probably going to be the chance where our minions are going to get overwhelmed and they're going to die. So we're going to grab Blood Sacrifice so that the kill skills that we currently have are going to trigger whenever the Vex's minions die. So not only does this double up with this skill right here, if my minions die, it activates my kill skill of Grave Quickening, which then makes them come back faster. So it's going to be a continuous loop of me summoning these minions onto the battlefield and dealing consistent damage everywhere, because I could summon 2 of my melee Reapers to go out, and then I'm gonna have I'll have another one of my Specters with a gun to come over there and start laying in some fire over there. So we're gonna grab Blood Sacrifice. I also want to grab Grave Friends, because this is going to give us up to 10% increased damage times 3, which is 30% extra damage for 16 seconds. That's crazy. We're gonna grab that, and mind you, that stack duration could probably increase the more that we put in here. I don't know yet. I've not seen anybody run this specific one, but so far we are really loaded up at the top. So now we're gonna start working our way down here. I'm primarily going to start working on this side, because this is where a lot of the minion build is, right down here. Here we're going to get Obedient Fiends. This one is going to give Vex increased minion damage, and minion skills and command skills gain further increased damage, which is crazy. We're getting more and more damage on top of this. So each one of these is going to jump up to 25% at full max stacks once we get this thing fully tuned in. So by level 26, we have so much stuff already synergizing together that's going to be super nice for keeping our minions up on the field and dealing a consistent increased amount of damage. So that's going to be really awesome. Now we're going to work on the second row. The second row right here, I'm going to be getting Death Follows Closer. And the reason why we're getting Death Follows Closer is because anytime I'm taking damage at low health, there is a chance for it to spawn a Reaper nearby. And I'm pretty sure every time we put something in here, the cooldown might go down a little bit. Again, haven't seen anybody play this version, but I'm just wanting to spawn out free Reapers and free minions at all times with this build. So we're going to put all 3 points into Death Follows Closer. But then we're also going to grab Spirit Bomb. Reapers gain maximum health capacity and will release a Spirit Bomb remnant when they die, dealing damage of their elemental type to nearby enemies. I think this is awesome, and I don't know if this is going to go up, but I'm going to assume that the Reaper's maximum health capacity is going to go up to 30%, and the damage is going to increase based on how much our level is, and then going into Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, probably scaling with that as well. So we're going to grab all 3 points into, actually no, we're going to take 2 points into that because we can immediately move down here to our final row where we're going to get our first and only capstone. But here's the thing, this capstone is going to be key for making sure that this build runs smoothly. And this is why I say that. This is Dark Pact, probably one of the most interesting kills, or one of the most interesting capstones that I've seen on Vex. And here's the reason why. Vex can equip 2 augments. This is the only, and I mean the only Vault Hunter in Borderlands 4 that can equip 2 augments. That's absolutely insane to me, and it's just crazy stuff. We also get the ability to use this new thing called Dark Pact. Dark Pact is activated by pressing and holding the F button to fully restore health on all active phase clones. That's a lot. That's instantly restoring all of their health, as well as granting them increased movement speed and attack speed for a duration of time. And that duration is 12 seconds. 12 seconds could clear a battlefield super fast. So that's what we're going to do. Also, phase clones do not lose health over time while Dark Pact is active, allowing us to continue to gain kill skills and to continue keeping these things on the field as long as freaking possible, which is exactly what I'm wanting. So that's going to be really nice. And the health loss is reset when Dark Pact ends. So I'm assuming with that, if I activate it when my Reapers or my clones or whatever the case may be are low on health, they're going to set back to low health and then probably instantly die. But if we're killing stuff quick enough, we're getting that cooldown anyway, so we shouldn't have any problem. They're going to get 30% extra movement speed, 30% attack speed, and its cooldown is 42 seconds for using Dark Pact. But we're also going to grab some cooldown skill for that, which I think this will help. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll see if that helps with it. And if not, we'll see if we can find a class mod or something in the game that can help us with that once we get into it. So we're going to grab Dark Pact as our capstone. And then we're also going to come right here and get Diner. This allows Dead Ringer to gain an additional charge. So not only am I going to have the 3 that I originally get, I get an extra 1 on top of getting possibly an extra Reaper if I am damaged at low health. So an absolutely crazy amount of minions can be spawned on the field, gaining extra damage at any given point. That's really going to help us out throughout our run, and it's going to be crazy. And then bam, we're going to grab Diner. So now we've completed our first 33 levels. Now we're 33 levels in and we're doing pretty good. We're probably close to end game at this point, but we're not done, because now we got to get to the end game, and I have a way to do that. Up here we gain gun damage. This is primarily going to be for myself and to increase the damage that my specters are getting, because so far we haven't increased anything on our specters. This increases our stuff for our reapers because it gives us melee damage. Now we're going to grab these 5 and absolutely tear through this next few levels. But we've also got this blank space over here for our second augment. For our second augment, we're going to grab Hellish Harvest because this is going to help a lot. This is a minion skill for the Reaper specifically. The Reaper gains the ability to use Hellish Harvest, dealing melee damage 3 times in a large area around themselves and regenerating health for each enemy hit. So again, increasing the amount of time that these things are going to be able to do that and be able to stay on the field. Reapers will use Hellish Harvest on spawn and every 3rd time they melee attack. So if we're increasing the amount of attack speed they get using Dark Pact, they're going to be able to activate Hellish Harvest even more, regenerating even more health, keeping them on the field longer, generating more kills so that I can spawn more no matter what is going on. This is going to be a crazy build. So we're going to grab Hellish Harvest. 32 damage per hit, obviously going to be increasing as we move on through the ranks of everything else that we have going on. So again, amazing stuff. So that's going to be that. And then we're going to come over here. So we're going to come over to this side for one specific skill, and I'm going to show you guys what that is. So we're going to grab Blight Attunement. The reason why we're grabbing Blight Attunement is because it is a kill skill, and this is going to be really, really nice as well. So essentially what this is going to do, while Vex is attuned to a corrosive, killing an enemy creates a haunting remnant minion. Again, another minion that we get to add to our repertoire of creatures, whatever you want to call them, that are on the battlefield with us dealing out damage. This is going to keep them out for a duration. The duration of the remnant is for 24 seconds, which is a pretty decent amount. This seeks out nearby enemies, dealing corrosive status effect damage over time, which is good. That's what we want. Also with the kill skill, if it kills, it restores the haunting remnant's duration if active. And it says right here, remnant duration restored on kill is 4 seconds. So it gets a 1/6 of its remaining time to return on every kill. And if we have so many minions on the field already, they're going to be killing a crap ton. We're going to be able to keep this thing up for a hot minute. Not to mention if we get some OP weapons and stuff. So we're going to put 5 points into this bad boy. Here is what I want. And this is probably the funniest named passive that I have ever seen. This is Gasterbait. I don't know who or why they greenlit this, but we have Gasterbait. That's probably the best named passive I think I've ever seen. But this is whenever Vex dodges, she creates a specter nearby, a free one, not part of the ones that we already have, a free specter, and becomes invisible for a duration, which that duration is 8 seconds, so enough time for me to heal up, use a rep kit, whatever may happen, or until my next gunshot. That's OP, brother. That's OP. So we're gonna grab all 3 of those. So as you can see, we have 4 skill points that we can continue to use. Now, I've debated back and forth on what I want to use for this. I think what I'm going to end up doing is using this passive skill recurrence. And I've went over this multiple times in my head to think about how this would work. But here's the reason why I want this. Whenever I, as the player, deals gun damage or melee damage, I gain a stack of recurrence. In gaining a stack of recurrence, this increases myself and my minions gun damage and melee damage. So the two sources of damage that I'm already dealing with my Reaper and with my Spectre, along with myself, because obviously I'm going to be shooting a gun this entire time and probably smacking a few people because I think it's funny. I can get up to 50 stacks, which I think if I did the math right, this is like 38% gun damage and 38%, or no, it's 8%. Sorry, it's 8%. Let me double check the math because I don't think my math is mathing in my head right now. So if we have 50 stacks, so first we need to do 16% times 5. That is going to give us 0.8% times 50 is going to possibly get us 40% gun damage and 40% melee damage for every single stack. Every single time I deal damage, I'm getting a stack, and that lasts for 5 seconds. If I'm continuing to shoot stuff, I'm dealing gun damage and I'm dealing melee damage, which is crazy because that's not only going to increase my damage, that's also going to increase my minions damage. So yeah, we're going to stick the last 4 points into this class right here. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, without taking any guns into consideration, without taking any class mods into consideration, without taking firmware, without considering the rep kit, without considering your enhancement, without considering the new specialist level up perks that you get, not considering any of that stuff, I'm pretty sure that this, just for the minions alone, is going to be absolutely nutty. And I'm excited for it. Because realistically, yeah, I could grab some fire rate and be able to shoot a little bit faster. But I'm like, I don't really need that. Because we're already got like essentially 6 to 8 people. So realistically, let's kind of take a tally of this real quick. We already get the 3 charges from the skill itself. We get 3 charges here. So that's 3 extra quote unquote people that we have on the map. Then when we move down to Diner, we get an extra one. So that's 4. Then with Death Follows Closer, we have the opportunity at low health to spawn a Reaper nearby, a free one. So that's number 5. Then we move over here to Gasterbait. When I dodge, I can spawn a Spectre. Now, mind you, this has a 2-minute cooldown. So that means every 2 minutes, as long as everything else is on the field, I can get yet another creature on the field. So make that 6. And then we also have our Blight Attunement minion, which is the Haunting Remnant minion. And every time we kill something, it gets to stay on the field. So that is 7 minions that we get to have on the field at any given moment, as long as we are making sure that we are damaging and we are killing. That's all we have to do. This is going to be an insane build, and I am extremely excited for this. This is one of those builds where, if done properly, I could probably continue to have my minions up for a long ass time. Not to mention, I'm already getting increased gun damage everywhere on this place because I'm getting 15% extra gun damage here, right here with recurrence with 4 stacks. Okay, let me do the math on that because I did it with 5. So let me do this properly. So 0.16 times 4 equals times 50 equal. Okay, so I get 32% gun damage instead of the 40% gun damage that I would normally get. So that's still 32% plus the 15%. So we're already doing 47% extra damage. Not to mention that, where's that skill at? There was another skill where we got extra damage. Right here. So with this, at 5 stacks, that's 10%. That's an extra 30% increased damage. This is all damage. when we kill something. So as long as we're killing something, we are currently getting about, what is that? 75% extra damage. Not to mention what we're going to get from rep kits and from firmware and from everything else, like the different bonuses that we're going to get from that. So at the end of the day, I think this might be the absolute most amazing minion build that I could possibly come up with. And I'm excited for it. So I hope that you guys are excited for it as well. If you are, consider hitting that like button and subscribing if you're new for some more Borderlands 4 content, which so far has being voted to be put on the channel. And I'm excited to do it because Borderlands is a massive, like, it's what got me into gaming. Borderlands 4 is going to be the game that I'm excited for. Like, I haven't been excited for a game in like 2 years, and this is that game. Borderlands 4 is the game I've been waiting for. So if you guys enjoyed this, do all the YouTube stuff, do all those things. Follow me over on Twitch because that's where I will be live streaming all of this stuff. And more importantly and above all else, you guys have yourselves a good day, a good night, and a good week. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye now.